Hello, loveys. Can you hear me? What a day in Commonwealth v. KarenRead. Okay? Your girl is unwell. All right? I have clutched all the pearls. Let's throw them on. I have clenched my butt cheeks. I have sworn at the phone. I've sworn at Mr. Nurse Kim. I have sworn at everyone. Okay? Everyone is catching the wrath. Potentially these hands. Okay? Keep it up. Keep it up. The Commonwealth has lost they lost the plot, babes. Have we forgot what this is about? You're supposed to be doing justice, allegedly. I'm not seeing a lot of justice. Okay? What I'm seeing is fuckery afoot in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And I just want to give a little bit of a warning to anybody who might have come to my house tonight thinking I was going to be able to keep it not cursy. No, not today. Okay? I'm throwing it down. Every way it can be thrown, I'm throwing it. And it is offensive all around. I'm offended for the O'Keefe family. I'm offended for the Reed family. I'm offended for Officer John O'Keefe. And I'm offended for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. You've taken this too far, Judge Beverly Cannoni, and Hank Brennan, first of his name, is a piece of actual dog shit. Okay? Someone stepped on him in a park, okay, off of Trapella Road, and they have just had a stench, a smell, putrid. That's what they smell. It's him. He is unbelievable in his inability to know this case. He never did his summer reading. And today you pulled some shit that, in my opinion, and did I text Attorney Betterow, Mr. Betterow, for him to talk me off a ledge? Yeah, I did. But this monologue is too much and no one asked for it. So let's get into it. Babes, we are going to listen to Dr. Wolf for a minute because we have to get into the shit. I can't even cover. I'm going to cover Loposada tomorrow morning. We'll do it in the car. We'll go over her stuff because then we'll do her again at later the next day. But I had to come on emergency staff meeting, aka let's black out together. So grab your pearls, clutch for dear life. Take a sip of the Diet Coke. Have you eaten your feelings today? Because I have. Okay? Gonna give you my bill for a therapist and potentially fucking Weight Watchers. Commonwealth, damn it. I have damages. All right, let's go. This is where it happens. And we're gonna talk all the shit.
Beyond the scope, Mr.
A few more questions, Dr. Wolf. You showed us holes in Randy's sweatshirt from Test F. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And you talked about what you would or wouldn't expect in a collision as far as holes. And did you say something like that was inconsistent with Mr. O'Keefe?
Yes.
That's what you said on redirect, right?
Correct.
Okay. Did you consider whether there were holes in Mr. O'Keefe's sweatshirt separate from the holes in the arm?
So can you repeat the question?
Yes. When you were making that opinion about consistent or inconsistent, did you ever consider whether there were holes in Mr. O'Keefe's sweatshirt other than the right arm?
Well, I know that there was cutting to the.
May I approach and retrieve the exhibit, Ron?
Yes.
Excuse me, sir. You ever look at the back of the sweatshirt to see if there was any holes to the back of the sweatshirt other than the right arms and form your opinion?
I don't recall.
Take a look at the back. You see other holes on the back of Mr. O'Keefe's sweatshirt?
It appears I see.
Now, at this moment, loveys, as Hank Brennan is up showing Dr. Wolf the sweatshirt of Officer John O'Keefe, the back of it, and asking him about holes in the back of his sweatshirt, I do not know how the defense team did not lose their shit. Because you know what happened to me? Come close. This is what I do. I black out at this moment and I say, wait a minute. What are the holes? I've been watching this for 2 trials. What are the holes to the sweatshirts? Because, and then I'm second guessing myself and I go, oh, I'm sorry. Do I need to check a composition notebook from 2024? What are we talking about right now? Hank Francis, first of your name, asshole of many. What are you talking about? And he had just really gone to the hilt before this, loveys. He was saying to Dr. Wolf, well, couldn't this be consistent with road rash? And he's talking all his shit. And well, you didn't put into account these holes. I lose it. I start traveling, spinning on the rings of unknown origin. I wasn't in this solar system. Usually you put me on Saturn. Not today. Not today, Satan. I was unable to be found, couldn't be located by anyone. I was gone in a black hole, and that is why we are blacking out right now. Continue, Hank, you asshole.
One hole.
Let me get a little closer so you can get a better look. I'll direct you to here. Do you see more than...
Ozempic. I'm going to have to get on it, okay? This son of a bitch. I'm sorry. Did you just say and point to your prop and say here and here and here and here and here's a hole, whack a mole? Oh, Hank, there's something in my pocket for you. I am just there it is. Boop.
One hole on the back of Mr. O'Keefe's sweatshirt?
Yes.
And then Mr. Wolf, he's like, yes, I see them. Oh.
When you were forming your opinions that the collision would be inconsistent to damage to Mr. O'Keefe's sweatshirt, did you consider that Mr. O'Keefe may have fallen or landed on his back?
Well, in looking at those holes, they're inconsistent with road rash. And again, to get those kind of holes, you have to have prolonged sliding contact on a rough surface.
Did you consider that Mr. O'Keefe may have fallen or landed on his back?
Well, if you just fall and land on your back, you're not going to be sliding to get those abrasions and tearing. And again, those are not consistent with road rash.
Didn't ask that question. Did you consider?
I didn't ask that question. Well, you know what question you should have asked, Hank? I don't know. Maybe tag in your fucking teammates. You know them? The 2 other fucking idiots that sit right next to you. God forgive me. I'm so sorry. Tiny Mary and Tiny Jesus. Maybe you could have, I don't know, leaned over to Adam Lally, asked to phone a friend. How about our Barney adjacent Law McGlaw? Okay? Because I'm pretty sure she would have been able to tell you, oopsie doops, you're going down the wrong path. Hank, this isn't the path. This isn't our path, right? This isn't the Commonwealth's path. And this handsome son of a gun is saying, as Dr. Wolf only can, hey, I didn't didn't know those. And also they look nothing that would be consistent with a fall, road rash, or sliding on frozen murder ground. Ooh, boo boo, double your pleasure. Fuck you. Hank Brennan.
Sorry, can you?
Did you consider whether Mr. O'Keefe had fallen or landed on his back?
No.
Did you know about or consider the multiple holes on the back of his sweatshirt when you came and formulated your opinions?
No.
You did no studies whatsoever about the damage to the sweatshirt if he fell or landed on the cold, hard ground and had broken taillight shards in his clothing, did you?
No.
I have no further questions.
Yeah, just one more.
Look at his notebook. Look at his. Oh. So now, this was the moment we all knew. We know who knows this case. All of them. All right. All of the defense team knows this case. And they were thinking to themselves in this moment, okay, slam the brakes, bitch. We've got a problem. Because riddle me this, I remember that sweatshirt. I remember that sweatshirt back from the first trial. And what did we see? A fully intact sweatshirt of Officer John O'Keefe. And then there were samples taken by whom? Maureen Hartnett, a little lovey from the Mass State Crime Lab. And actually, she needs some help too, because she doesn't really know what she's doing. So she sometimes just likes to cut random patterns. She doesn't send the appropriate swabbing to Terry Kuhn over at UC Davis for animal DNA, for the dog canine DNA. But I digress. So you know damn right well, AJ is right over at Karen's laptop. She pulls it up. She's like, beep, 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 bop, bop. She's like, enter, right? She was like, Siri, fuck him up. And Siri did. Watch what happens next.
If I'm you were asked by Mr. Brennan, give me one name, very dramatically, of someone.
The objection sustained.
You were asked, give me one name to support using a 50 percentile hybrid 3 in testing forces on a 216-pound man. Do you remember that question?
Yes.
How about the name Judson Welcher? How about that name?
So the objection sustained.
Did Judson Welcher use a 50 percentile hybrid in his drop test?
So that's sustained as to form.
What did Judson Welcher use in his drop test?
A hybrid 3 50th percentile male, the same that we use in our testing.
And loveys, it is so important to remember that Hank Brennan, in this recross right before AJ gets up for redirect, he is talking to Dr. Wolf again, comes in so hot today. And it's like, it looks bad to me. I really am having a hard time stomaching Hank Brennan's voice at this point, okay? I used to say when a who and a weasel had a baby, and now it's giving Jeffrey Dahmer. Okay? And clearly not as a murderer. It's as it gives me a very uncomfortable feeling. It gives me a feeling as if you are dangerous. You are someone who adheres to no ethical standards, because had this been a shoe on the other foot, we know damn right well that there would have been grave concerns from Judge Beverly Cannoni. There would have been admonishment to the defense team, and it would have resulted, in my opinion, in sanctions to the defense team. This was the most blatant fuck up, and some of our loveys in the chat have said this wasn't an F up, that this was 100% a calculated plot. And we're going to ask ourselves that together. Why? Because we need therapy. We need therapy because we think so much about this case. But it also, we're going to talk through whether you think this was premeditated by the Commonwealth, or was this that Hank Brennan is simply a mob defense attorney who does not have the training and experience or ability anymore as a prosecutor, that he forgets like where he is. He's forgetting his role consistently.
You were also asked whether or not using that hybrid 3-arm with the same speed would have an effect on the force equation, on the force calculation, correct?
Correct.
And you agreed it might have a small effect on the force calculation, correct?
So sustained is to form.
This is just foundational, Your Honor.
Sustained is to form.
How did you answer that question?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Sure. Let me ask it this way. In the 29-mile-an-hour test with the hybrid 3-arm, were you going faster than 24 miles an hour?
Yes.
And what was the calculation again on the increased force that would be exerted on the taillight, on the arm, area of the taillight? 14%?
Yes.
So sustained.
How much, what was the percentage that you calculated? The increase?
14%.
And did you find damage, even with the increase of 14%? Did you find damage on that exemplar taillight consistent with the extensive damage on the subject SUV?
No.
Can we have 201D put up one more time?
Let's put it up. Put up the D. Hit him with that D.
Mr. Brennan just asked you if you made note of these little red pieces, correct?
Correct.
Do you have any idea the size of those pieces? As you sit here.
Not without a scale of some sort, no.
So as you sit here, do you have any idea what the size of those pieces are?
No.
I couldn't tell you as I sit here today, no.
No idea if they're a foot long? Gotcha.
So the objection sustained.
You were asked, when shown this picture, if you accounted for this in terms of damage to the garment, the sweatshirt, right?
Correct.
What if I told you those were...
So the objection's sustained. He said he doesn't know the sizes. That's the end of that, Mr. Jackson.
I realize he said he doesn't know. He was
That's
asked
the
questions.
end
Your
of
Honor.
that, Mr. Jackson.
Oh, okay. I left that in because that's the end of that, Mr. Jackson. Judge Cannone. Cut the shit. This is insanity. I feel as though today, Loveys, like I'm actually concerned. We're going to talk through it. We're going to get there. Okay. This can, in my opinion, this can go one of two ways. One is very good for Karen. Very good. And we were like, God only has things happen the way he does, even when we're going through like tests and we're saying like, I don't understand how this could happen. I don't get it. Or like, what am I not getting here? Either it is going to work out in the favor of Karen, which I firmly believe that she will be acquitted of all charges at the end of this week, hopefully. However, if it goes another way and the jury has taken all of these inferences, whether it be that ARCA worked as from the insurance company, which it was cleared up by Alan Jackson, and we also have like the other request for the mistrial came in the form of Attorney Alessi saying, like, this is bullshit. You people are hiding the ball. But with the record that has been made, if, God forbid, something were to go awry, in my opinion, the record has been kept so well by this defense team that an appellate would, and of course, like I'm just going by other cases, that they would have so much to appeal that it could be and just an automatic release if that happened to be the case. I mean, and God forbid, but I'm just saying this stuff is making me have heartburn. I am not emotionally equipped to deal with Judge Cannone being unable to mask her judgment in any sort of consistency. There is nothing here, loveys, that is consistent. There is nothing here that is putting the onus on the Commonwealth to be at the highest standards. And I feel like they're the bottom of the barrel. Sorry.
You have Mr. Wolk, do you have the picture of the tin? The TIN, tin, the little round tin? Do you see that tin?
Yes.
Are you aware that all those pieces are inside that tin?
Sustained. Jurors disregard that.
In
Did you
that
see this
tin.
tin in your analysis?
I do recall seeing, yes, in the evidence photographs of all the fragments, yes.
In your experience, are very large pieces or very small pieces put in little tins about 2 inches wide?
Sustained.
You were asked a question about the arm being pushed by the taillight. Asked a bunch of questions about that, right?
Correct.
You indicated, what did you say in terms of the contact by a vehicle pushing an arm?
It's going to move with the vehicle until it separates.
Okay. In your testing, how long did it take the hybrid 3 arm to get up to speed of the vehicle in the 24-mile-an-hour test?
About 10 milliseconds.
I'm sorry, say that again, louder.
10 milliseconds.
10 milliseconds, correct?
Correct.
So when you say the arm is being pushed, it's being hit, right?
The objection sustained and it's struck.
Here was the thing. So when Dr. Wolf, and I feel like he, God bless him. I really feel as though I wanted him, and it might not just be his personality. He is I'm sticking to what I know. I am going to give you all of the information that I can. And he is not an argumentative witness, loveys, right? Like he is just a very educated man. But you have someone like Hank Brennan coming up to the podium and kind of pretending that he is educated in that field, right? And trying to put words into his mouth and saying, well, now that you've conceded to this, and meanwhile, back at the ranch, if we can remember Friday, let's go back to Friday, babes. Do you remember when he just randomly showed his wife's Facebook profile? And he's like, my wife? You just showed his family to him in an intimidation tactic, in my opinion. And it's like, what are we doing here? This is an expert witness. This isn't somebody in the community that's, allegedly giving people a hard time. Fuck off. And it's lowbrow. It's not saying that you have a case. It's saying what Mr. Betterow said when he goes, oh, they can use it, but that shows what they have. He came in today and it's just, I feel, look at his face. Look at his face. Look at Dr. Daniel Wolf. I feel like he was deflated here. And I kept saying, you got this. I'm talking to him, you know me, right? I'm like, you got this, honey. You know what you're doing. Don't fucking let him push you anywhere. Nobody puts Dr. Wolf in the corner. You are smart. You are so educated. And he doesn't know shit about shit. And he's trying to trip you up. Stay the course. And I know that he did his best. You know who you're not going to razzle. You know who you can't razzle, frazzle, German Vazzle, German Vazersil. Yes, you can't do any of it. It's Dr. Rentschler. And I cannot wait. I beg of you. I look forward to Hank Brennan trying it on Dr. Rentschler. Because Dr. Rentschler will avenge his ARCA. which doesn't need avenging, but I'm just saying, he will straighten your ass so far out verbally, scientifically, and he is going to say, giddy up, okay? Because as long as this is allowed in, that his opinions are allowed in, and Judge Cannoni would, I do not think, I don't know. Who am I? I don't know. And she might limit his opinions. If she does that, babes, then I don't know what to say. Then we're all going to have to go to all going to have to go to church. Okay? We're all going to meet at Our Lady's in Waltham, and we are going to pray. Because if she does not allow what should be allowed in for the final hurrah, the expert for KarenRead, then we're going to need to do actual 24-hour vigils.
In every one of your tests, every single one of your tests, did any taillight fragment tear a hole in the sleeve of the shirt that you were testing?
No, there was no holes, punctures, fraying, nothing to the material.
Was there ever a defect in that garment in any of that testing other than the road rash that we saw in the 29-mile-an-hour direct impact?
That the only test that showed the holes and the abrasions was that full-on hit where the body was sliding on the ground. There was no test where the taillight caused any type of punctures, holes, or fraying to the material.
Absolutely, Sharon.
What happened to the back of the
Synagogues too.
Destroyed.
And that was important at 29 miles per hour, right? It doesn't matter if it's Rescue Randy. It doesn't matter if, and now, quick question, babes. Did you, let's talk about this, just us. It's just us. Did you understand about the 9 pounds versus the approximate, learn to speak, she's worked up. The 9.3 pounds versus the 11 pounds estimate of Officer John O'Keefe's arm, and why Hank was so caught up in that, because we know that ARCA did changes, right? Like they made the force variable higher than the entire allegation of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts against KarenRead to make up for the force difference. Again, hello, above my pay grade, babes. But I was still lost in the sauce of why he kept saying that is the biggest deal, and that the defense is doing something wrong by using an exact exemplar in the same percentile, the 50%, like the head that was used by Aperture. So how is one tainted, but the other one is acceptable? I didn't get his point there. Oh, Kathy D tells me the idea is to confuse and obfuscate. Yes. He did it to confuse the jury. His own expert did the same thing. Yes, Rescue Randy's hybrid arm. And exactly, Val. Hey, Lovey. Welcher used the same one. Yeah. So, okay. Oh, and don't forget, Rescue Randy isn't a dummy, babes. You know who he is? He's a mannequin. Well, at least he's a fucking man. He's more of a man than Hank Brennan, if you ask me. Okay. Oops, I said it. Probably got a bigger cockadoodle do as well, Hank, you fuck.
Follow-up questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, look at his face. I love him. Okay, so now it's like a sidebar to save them all, right? Now we know what happens. They're at sidebar. Then they go. And then you are about to be, babes, if you have not seen this IRL, if you didn't watch this shit in real time, get ready. I'm playing the whole thing for us. We deserve it. We need to watch it and process it together. Oh, Susanna. And the poor jury, they really were on breaks all day today. But
So
it was
Attorney
very-
Brennan-
Oh, it's happening.
Documents marked as exhibits.
Wait a minute. I'm starting at 3 to anyone.
Bear with me a moment, Your Honor. I need to put on evidence gloves.
This was a moment for me. This was a moment for me. I felt it emotionally, spiritually, physically. I said, Attorney Alessi, put it on. Gloving up. I knew this was big doings. I had no idea what was coming next, but Jesus, take the wheel. Tiny Jesus, Tiny Mary were with Attorney Alessi. Oh, and the fucking petty paralegal. And the Victorian child who looks very ill. Yep, he's blinking heavily. Blink thrice if you would like soup tonight. Does father have enough? And what are you looking? Do you not know how to put a glove on? You probably don't, you slut. Oh.
Your Honor, the defense moves for a mistrial with prejudice based upon intentional misconduct that just occurred before the court and for the jury. And what I'd like to do, Your Honor, this regards the hoodie, and this regards questioning and representations and questioning by Mr. Brennan. And what I'd like to and need to do, Your Honor, is to have 2 documents marked as exhibits, and then I am going to use Exhibit 88, which is an evidence, which is the hoodie, which is why I'm putting on the evidence gloves, and it will become quite obvious very shortly what the issues are.
All right, so what are the things that you want to have marked?
What I would like to have marked. What I would like to have marked, the first document, and I want to get the specific title. These 2 documents are from.
He was sprinting. And I'm going to tell you this. When Attorney Alessi moved back and forth in the courtroom today, loveys, I did it too. Got my steps in, bitch. Okay, I'm combating this sugar situation that I have ingested far too many snacks. I was pacing, babes. Okay, I'm back. I'm forth. I'm to the care. I go, what are we doing? I was following him emotionally.
The Criminalist file, specifically Ms. Maureen Hartnett's notes regarding cuttings from the hoodie sweatshirt that's in the crime lab file folder.
Okay.
So the first is the back of the hoodie. So with Your Honor's permission, I would have that marked for identification.
Exhibit Y. Right.
Why? That's really the front. It's AAA, but we'll get there.
And may I see that, please? Okay.
That is the back of the hoodie, Your Honor. And if I could please have the next marked in order exhibit for identification.
Exhibit ZZZ for the identification.
Just give me a minute to read this, Mr. Alessi.
Yes,
So is it that there are no holes in the back? There were no holes in the back of the sweatshirt?
that's only part of it, but that is in fact the case, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes, that is.
I can't tell entirely from ZZZ, but if that's your argument, why, for identification appears to support that.
Your Honor, may I have the exhibits marked for identification back for my argument?
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Madam Court. Your Honor, what we just saw is Attorney Brennan question Dr. Wolf with regard to the hoodie sweatshirt that heretofore has been in the plastic casing for trial. And this is the, what happened was Attorney Brennan held up the casing with a hoodie sweatshirt, went to the back of the hoodie sweatshirt. First point to note, Mr. Brennan did not show Mr. Jackson the
back of the hoodie sweatshirt, didn't give Mr. Jackson an opportunity to look at it.
Can I just ask a question? I noticed that it was over here at the witness stand this morning, so I assumed everyone was aware that something was going to happen with it. Is that not the case, Mr. Jackson?
That is not the case, Your Honor. The
Okay.
first time I realized that line
Okay.
of question was going to be asked was when Mr. Brennan pulled the casing out.
Okay.
So, okay, babes, okay, so we know that in trial, you have to come close. All right. You have to give a heads up. If you're going to be showing something, right, that's like not in the same, it's not his witness. So even though it is in trial, like what are we showing the sweatshirt for? You got to give a heads up to the D. Got to get the defense. You got to say, hey, babe, I'm showing this, right? So Attorney Brennan had that up. The childlike empress, okay, who is a very, very ill child, okay, from the 1800s. We know this. And the petty paralegal. They all worked as an absolute fuck off team, okay? The team of witchcraft. I believe that they may be here from their ancestors in 1692. They have come to haunt us all right? And they fucking haunt me in my dreams, or nightmares rather. But so they all knew that the glass case was behind Dr. Wolf, right? And they pretended. No, you didn't. You pretended like, oh, that was been there. Never told the defense, because that one conversation would have been enough to spark the defense to say, if you present this, it'll be a bad day for you. But they didn't do that, because to me, that feels deliberate.
Go ahead, Mr. Leslie.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, to do it in order, Mr. Brennan takes the hoodie sweatshirt in the casing without notice, shows it to Dr. Wolf, and shows the back of the hoodie, which has certain holes, and I'm going to limit calling them holes to do this chronologically. I'm going to refer to exactly what they are in moments.
Okay, so I need to see it. I know you've got gloves on. Where is it right now? It would help me if you held it up for me now,
Absolutely, Your
Mr.
Honor.
Leslie.
So, here is the back
Okay.
of the hoodie.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
It's very obvious that these are cutting holes cut by the criminalist, and I'm going to get back to this in a moment. But I would like to do it, and certainly entertain any of your other questions, put in a logical.
Amen. Prince Lover says, don't piss down my back and then tell me it's raining. And that is what the Commonwealth of Massachusetts has done in this case, time and time again. Obsessed. Love that saying. A golden shower? Not a sun shower, bitch.
Order.
Sure. So I'm not. What about the jurors and lunch? How long do you think this will be?
I think this will take about 10 to 15 minutes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Like, and Attorney Alessi is not arguing a silly motion. He's actually arguing for a mistrial with prejudice. This is very serious. And Judge Cannoni is like, yeah, so how long is this going to take? Because, I just need to know for lunch. That shows everything you need to know, loveys. 110% that the fix is in. The fix is in as it relates to the court. And it's discouraging, it's disgusting, and it is not adhering to any principles of justice and judicial prudence and what we believe, or we're supposed to be able to believe, are our rights as citizens. I mean, this is heartbreaking to Karen. This is heartbreaking to her family. I think of Mr. and Mrs. Reed specifically, and I know I also do, I pray for Mr. and Mrs. O'Keefe and for Paul and Aaron, even though, like, hey, You might not believe that Karen is innocent, but you lost your loved one. And when we're sitting here and seeing the egregious acts that are just portrayed and misrepresented to the court and now to the jury by Hank Brennan, and it's always a pass, it makes me wanna fucking puke.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Leslie.
Oh, and let me
Thank
try
you,
to
Your
get
Honor.
a rhythm.
So I just want to get the flow back going here in the logic. So, and I'll do it quickly. So Mr. Brennan grabs the hoodie sweatshirt inside the casing, doesn't show it to Attorney Jackson, goes up. We have no idea that this was going to happen. Goes up, confronts the witness, Dr. Wolf, shows the back of the hoodie sweatshirt. To my knowledge, the first time the back has been referenced of the hoodie sweatshirt. Shows Dr. Wolf, confronts him, and basically says, couldn't these holes be caused, and I'm paraphrasing, from a fall backwards? Obviously positing in the juror's mind after, remember, we just saw all kinds of videos
All the video.
with regard to Rescue Randy and impact at 24, 29 miles an hour, more aptly 29 miles per hour, and damage to the hoodie, etc. So what then happens is Dr. Wolf is asked a series of questions, very much with the indication that somehow, in the clear implication, that these holes are being caused by road rash, and that the holes in the back of the hoodie sweatshirt, Exhibit 88, could have been or likely were caused with regard to some type of impact. Clearly presented to the jurors with that in mind in that questioning. Here is the basis for the mistrial with prejudice.
Yes, my king.
Those holes in the back of the hoodie sweatshirt are clearly, unequivocally, without doubt, caused nothing to do with any type of event on or about January 29, 2022.
So do you have something you said, when you said obviously cut by the criminalist, do you have something that shows that? That chart that I couldn't understand quickly, is it on that? Is
Yes,
that to
Your
the
Honor.
back?
What
Okay.
we have is two documents to show that.
Right,
Oh.
so the second one, when was that provided?
These, when you say provided, you mean with regard to when did the defense get these in
Yes.
a discovery? Let me get the date, Your Honor.
Sure.
Oh.
Notice of discovery, May 2023.
Okay, thank you.
And I will note,
Bubba?
Exhibit YYY. The only, I believe, I'm holding up YYY, which is the back of the hoodie, I believe is the only one, to my knowledge, not put into evidence, not turned into evidence. This is the one that it clearly shows the hoodie before the criminalist started her work with the cuts. There are no cuts to YYY, and if we need to, we'll bring Ms. Hartnett in to confirm.
All right, so is ZZZ in evidence?
ZZZ
Yeah.
is not in evidence, and that is part of the basis for the mistrial. It is no coincidence that these two documents.
Huge, huge. Okay, babes. So first and foremost, F. Hank Brennan for his absolute bullshit that he pulled in the line of questioning. But then to find out in this moment from Attorney Alessi that the Commonwealth only left out these exhibits. Oh, you're shitting me. This is unbelievable. Because you can say that again, he didn't do his summer reading. He's a piece of shit. He loves Whitey Bulger. He whatever. Say anything that you want. But if the jury couldn't go back and be able to look at those specific exhibits and say, oh, wow, it's kind of like when a question came forward while we were at deliberations of trial of the first trial, right? When they were like, can we see the cert report? And Judge Cannoni says, you have everything in evidence. Was the Commonwealth, in your opinion, trying to pull a fast one and trial by ambush with saying that KarenRead's Lexus caused road rash and holes to Officer John O'Keefe's hoodie sweatshirt? Put a yes or a no in the chat for me, Levies.
Documents are not in evidence, because if they were in evidence, they would clearly have prevented the stunt that we just saw occur with regard to Dr. Wolf. So that is part of the intentional misconduct, Your Honor, is these are documents from the criminalist's file. It's the Commonwealth's documents. And it is very clear when you go to Exhibit ZZZ, the cuts that the criminalist made to the back of the hoodie are specified.
So where on that? Because when I quickly looked at it, I didn't see it. What does it say? Go ahead and read it to me, please.
It's item number 7. I'll read it from the top. LIMS 22-2184. Analyst MSH, which is the initials for Ms. Hartnett. Dates: May 11, 2022, May 12, 2023, and then May 18, 2023. And what she does is she's got the...
You know what? Can you bring it up to me, please?
I certainly can, Your Honor. And I can conduct my argument from right here if that helps, Your Honor.
I just want to point out to me where it says where it shows the back.
This is the back.
So this ends up being that Attorney Alessi has the front, and they wanted that too. You wanted to see the front and the back, but initially it's the front. Let's get over here, babes. We're just going to get to him, Karen providing that. They make copies of it, and then he continues with this argument.
And of course, we have Exhibit 88, which is the hoodie. So what Mr. Brennan did, and I'm now pulling Exhibit 88, he holds up the back of the hoodie, which has cuts in the back from the criminalist, somebody from the Commonwealth, a witness in this case, Ms. Hartnett. She's testified, and Mr. Brennan has indicated he wants her to come back and testify, which we welcome.
We welcome.
And now what we have is we have holes in the back of the sweatshirt that were dramatically held up to and confronted with Dr. Wolf, and then the jury sees it. With a clear, unmistakable, purposeful intention of having the jury conclude that these holes could have come from events on January 29th of 2022, when in fact the Commonwealth well knows from its own documents, from its own criminalist, that those holes in the back were caused by their criminalist as part of their examination and sampling of the hoodie.
Okay. And now, Levies. Oh, sorry. Just kidding. I touched a button. Shouldn't have. Something really pissed me off here, and we're going to have to just scooch back just a tigre and watch the
that these
paralegal.
holes could have come from events on January 29th of 2022, when in fact the Commonwealth well knows.
Fix your face, little bitch. Okay? Fix your face right now, you unprofessional, ignorant slut. Okay? How dare you? Look at that man. This attorney who is up there fighting for his client's life. And when we have seen Hank Brennan bang the desk, bang on the podium, no one is looking like that. This is beyond upsetting. And let me tell you, you petty paralegal in an ill-fitting pencil skirt, okay? You and Hank, and whatever happens between you two in a broom closet or when you're refilling the fucking stapler, I don't give a shit. But this is a bad look. Okay, Karen is a defendant. Has there been questions on her to fix her face at times? Yes. But let's keep the same energy for court officers. You should have been kicked out of court. This is on national television. This, your eye rolling, You're writing on your legal pad. It's obnoxious. You are a fucking definition pick me. And it's gross. Be confident in yourself. If you don't like somebody, babe, it'll get you further in life if you are able to fight back with argument. That you are able to fight back and prove your point. But you have no points. All you have is rolling your eyes and writing chicken scribble in your legal pad, because everybody knows who's in that courtroom, that when Hank's walking back and he's making the eyes at you, okay, we know why you got the job, honey. And it isn't your skills. Okay? So maybe the next time you would like to be so overtly disrespectful in open court, maybe you'll just think twice. Think twice, clutch your pearls, okay? And try to think about, your future. Because this case is going to be over, and what are you going to do? You're going to ride or die for Hank? Because I don't think he'd want to really date you. I don't think you're the one. Because his wife probably wouldn't like that, right? Oh, that upsets me. And it's all the time. I don't usually call her out, except for the one day that I was there because I saw it with my own eyes. But this is petty. This is unprofessional. And I am talking shit on the World Wide Web. You are being paid to be part of this Commonwealth's team. You're their paralegal. Okay? And this is the face of justice, babes, in the Commonwealth of Mass. How's that grab your ass? Continue, King Alessi.
From its own documents, from its own Criminalist, that those holes in the back were caused by their Criminalist as part of their examination and sampling of the hoodie. What could be more egregious? What could be more misleading than that? And what could be more important for a context than the alleged collision that never occurred?
Wouldn't it have been something if Attorney Alessi stopped right there and looked at her until she fixed her face, like Hank Brennan does in his own threatening manner to KarenRead? Can you imagine if Attorney Alessi had just looked at her? Would perhaps someone have spoken to her? Because it is inappropriate. I am not there, you are. And how you have represented the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is so unbelievable. This shouldn't be so, viscerally charging to her as a paralegal.
That's the topic before some of the most significant and probative witnesses in this trial that the Commonwealth has been attacking from the jump of pretrial. They picked the most opportune, sensitive time to pull this stuff. This is intentional.
It is.
This is irremediable. This is on the key issue of this case, whether there was any collision at all. On its own, Your Honor, on its own, this is a mistrial with prejudice. But I add to that what just happened, and I'm not going to repeat or go into other than to reference. This comes on just mere days after the Commonwealth raised the specter of absence of DNA on the same hoodie sweatshirt without having the criminalist, excuse me, the Ms. Kuhn from UC Davis come in. I know Your Honor already ruled on that.
Right,
and
so let's move along from
Right,
that.
that's what, and I'm going to come back to this. Why is this occurring, Your Honor? Why is this happening?
Why?
The Commonwealth has no case. They have no collision. They are desperate and are trying to create evidence of specters of collision where the evidence doesn't support it. So what have we come to? We've come to the manufacture of evidence. We've come to, incredibly, taking a hoodie, a key piece of evidence in this case, and holding up to Dr. Wolf, the ARCA expert, to try to make it seem like Dr. Wolf didn't do his job. You didn't account for these holes.
Yes.
How could you be a credible accident reconstructionist when you talk about some holes, but you don't talk about these holes? Knowing all along the holes that Attorney Brennan is trying to impeach Dr. Wolf on were caused by the Commonwealth.
And that is the point, because any defense attorney, right? Just like Shannon Burgess, Burgess, right? We were able to say he misrepresented himself. And then potentially, did that information affect Aperture? I believed it would. And now if Hank Brennan has gone up and provided incorrect line of questioning and pointed out specific holes that he claimed were on Officer John O'Keefe's hoodie on January 29th, 2022, then he is asking the jury to call into question all of ARCA. And he did it on purpose, in my opinion. He did it so that he had that moment. It's a tit for tat. And that is not how the justice system should work. This is very frightening, babes. It's scary. It should scare you that a hired prosecutor that cost friggin' $225,000 after he was paid $75K and, paid the petty paralegal so that she could come and work for him instead of just working at her office. He's her private attorney, his private paralegal from his office. This is weird. And you've cost the Commonwealth how many hundreds of thousands of dollars? And this is your game. You tried because the defense was able to shit on your experts legitimately. You pulled this out of whole cloth, Hank. And no one stopped you. And it's disgraceful.
Commonwealth's own criminalist as part of sampling. I don't believe one could come up with more misleading, misdirecting, elucidation of testimony than this on the key issue in the case. We have irrefutable, objective evidence, and I will state that it's more than interesting that none of these exhibits that Your Honor now has marked for identification were put in evidence by the Commonwealth. Isn't it some coincidence that these are the one, and the only one of the, with regard to the hoodie, the back of it's not in, all the rest of them are, but these aren't. Your Honor, I think there is one and only one conclusion.
And she rolls her eyes. I mean, I really have to take my eyes off of her because I could just absolutely go to town just watching her hear this. And I can't. I got to let it go because Attorney Alessi it's too important. But this is the representation between an appellate lawyer and a paralegal from the Commonwealth, loveys. That's who represents you. Oh.
in that this is intentional, that it is a matter of such significance and of such misconduct and intentional that it merits the sanction of a mistrial with prejudice. The amount of effort, the amount of work, I can't even begin to think to remedy this in front of the jury.
Right.
To go backwards on this. That should not befall the defense.
Correct.
That should befall the prosecution. Ms. Reed, again, is entitled, like every other defendant in this wonderful Commonwealth, to a fair trial. The prosecution is supposed to be held to a higher standard, to do justice, to create a fair trial. This is the antithesis of a fair trial. Ms. Reed's rights under the Constitution and the Declaration of Rights have once again been trampled on.
Yes.
And it is becoming evidently clear, the more desperate the prosecution gets because it can't prove its theory, including its own medical examiner can't support them, that they're now resorting to conduct like this. Your Honor, at some point, this has to come to an end. At some point, Ms. Reed's rights have to be protected. At some point, confidence in the judicial system, the public's confidence in the judicial system, that prosecutors will conduct themselves with their duty to present a fair trial. That has to be enforced at some point for Ms. Reed to receive the fair trial that she and every other defendant in this Commonwealth is entitled to.
All right, thank you. Mr. Brennan.
Oh. All right, thank you. We knew right then, babes, that this was never going to be a mistrial with prejudice. Could there be an instruction that would correct this? Yes. Do I believe the instruction that was given by Judge Cannoni was a 10% of what it should have been? Absolutely not. I again blacked out for the fourth time when we hear what's next. We will hear Hank Brennan right now, and let's see what he proposes. Oh my gosh.
Your Honor, my brief review of
Okay, hi, babes. So sorry. Listen, somebody said, Kim, I don't know if I feel comfortable with talking about his paralegal. I'm sorry, babe. This is called a blackout stream, okay? And Hank Brennan just got up at this podium again and looked at KarenRead and stopped talking because of a defendant who is fighting for her life the second time in this courtroom may have made a face or was conversing with her attorney. And he does it to intimidate, to shut her up, and to bring it to the attention of the court. I'm going to talk about her. Okay? Because I need to. I have to get it off my chest. And I will be done with it after today. But I have to let it out. You have to let it out. And it's not okay. These are not who or behaviors in which we should give a pass to. Like, no. If I did that at my place of employment, get out. Woohoo! I wouldn't have one. You think that if I've heard how many doctors in my life talk and shit. And I'm like, oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Boop. Yes, ma'am. Whatevs, and just having to take it in. And that's why, because it's your job. It's my job to do so and to professionally do so. It is not my job to roll the eyes at someone I don't want to hear. When you work for opposition, and you work for this Commonwealth in this contract. I just can't not say something. It's it bothered me too much, and I'm sorry.
Review of the lab paperwork and looking at the hoodie, it appears that I made a mistake.
It appears that I made a mistake. Oh, okay, babe. Well, that's it. That's it. It appears I made a mistake. Oops. I spilt the blocks. Shit. Oh gosh. I don't know. Did I make the copies of the wrong memo today at work? No. You misled a jury intentionally to believe that an expert for the defense was incompetent or did not follow and review all of the evidence in its entirety. You, Hank Brennan, are a walking asshole. Oops.
And so I think what should happen is there should be a curative instruction. There should be a stipulation. The court should instruct the jury that during Mr. Brennan's cross-examination, he asked Dr. Wolf about holes on the sweatshirt or holes on the back of Mr. O'Keefe's sweatshirt. The parties agree the holes were made by a crime lab technician. This was done inadvertently, but should not have been.
Nope. You'd like that, wouldn't you? Nope. No, Hank. It was done inadvertently. Absolutely go fuck yourself. That's strong. Again, this is a blackout stream. Sorry, babes. That is such a cop-out. You made another material misrepresentation to this court, just like you did when you said that the FBI handed over all of the emails and gave the ARCA communication when it really came from the defense team. But that was able to be remedied because it was only in front of Judge Cannoni. But today, sir, you crossed a line that is so severe that if this doesn't work out for Karen, which I hope that it will, and I pray that it will, and I have faith that you're hiding the ball, and you not providing witnesses such as former Trooper Michael Proctor, Brian Higgins, anyone else, that you are setting yourself up for when you conceal evidence. There is no other choice but for a jury to find a defendant not guilty. But today you made a concerted effort, Hank, to hurt KarenRead. And it is supposed to be your job to give the defendant a fair trial in the search of truth.
Asked, the court should strike the questions and the answers, and you should instruct the jury there to completely disregard any questions or answers about the holes in the back of the sweatshirt, and the court should allow the defense to introduce the lab paperwork.
All right. So I'm not going to allow the mistrial motion, Mr.
Which we
West.
knew.
What I'm going to do is instruct the jurors. I'm going to put in what's been marked for identification, Y, Z, A, and B. 4 of each letters. I'm going to put all these into evidence. They can be displayed for the jury, and I'm going to instruct the jury that during the cross-examination of Dr. Wolf, Mr. Brennan asked him about holes in the back of the sweatshirt and whether or not they perhaps could have come from events or implying or something like this.
Oh,
I instruct you, you are not permitted.
babes, did you all not lose your minds hearing Judge Cannoni just and listen, she's a judge. She's been a judge for a very, very long time. But my criticism here would be you didn't even need to go back to your chambers. You did. And I understand that the jury had been out for a lot of the day. I get that we're trying to wrap this trial up. I completely understand that. And you don't want the jury to disengage. But hearing her just freeball this from the bench and be like, yeah, and something like that. And, like oopsie doopsies. And like, and then I'll put a little fucking sprinkle on it over here. Do you want Jimmy's with that? Like, I was very concerned. She says the wrong date at one point. She says something about 2025. I'm like, no, don't say it. And then she gets pissed off, which we'll watch. So shut up, Kim. All right, let's play.
To draw any inference that these could have come from the events of January 29th, 2022. And I instruct you further that those holes were made by the criminalist, Ms. Harnett, during the course of her inspection and sampling of the sweatshirt on, I just put the dates aside. Chrissy, can I see those, please? It's unclear for me. Do you have a better idea, Mr. Alessi, what day these were done? Is it all of those 3 days? Now I see a fourth day. 5/11, no, I'm sorry, 5/11, 5/12, 5/11/2022, 5/12/2023, and 6/18/2023. Those are the 3 dates?
Your Honor, Honorable May 18th, when the defense filed a motion to test. So that's the probative date.
So May 18th?
Yes, that's good.
Okay.
And that's 2023.
Yep. All right.
Hi, Levy.
That's what I'm going to do. Is there anything further you want me to include in the instruction? Your rights are saved regarding the mistrial. I disagree with you on that.
Your Honor, I'm not going to go any more into the
Your rights are saved, right? Because we know that the Madam Court Reporter 2.0, she has taken down all of it, right? So she is recording all this. Great.
argument, but I appreciate the opportunity to provide perhaps some further instructions for Your Honor.
So I'll hear you. Go ahead.
So the first, Your Honor, is with regard to two things. One, I would like the opportunity to have the hoodie sweatshirt held up.
Yes.
Because that's what
Okay.
happened.
Yes.
It is-
Yes.
these holes in the
Yes.
back.
Yes.
Thank you. So that's number one as part of the stipulation.
Oh, well,
And then-
I'm
thanks.
not wording it as a stipulation, and I'm not saying it was inadvertent. I am giving an instruction that they cannot consider it.
Oh, look at Paul. Look at Paul's like, oops, that's concerning. And it appears that one of Officer O'Keefe's girlfriends from 25 years ago, she's concerned about this as well.
For this purpose, and I am allowing these to be placed into evidence. So it's not a stipulation. It's from me, which I think is more forceful.
I misspoke, Your Honor. I agree, not a stipulation.
And then she
but as Your Honor
sighs.
said, with regard to the matter Your Honor said they're not to take an inference, I would respectfully request that this be handled just like Your Honor did with regard to the rock at 34 Fairview. Your Honor said that rock wasn't present, on or about the time of event.
So I do say that when I say Ms. Harnett did this. So rewording
didn't say.
it just a little bit.
Yes, exactly.
Mr. Brennan asked Dr. Wolf about holes in the back of the sweatshirt. I instruct you that you are not permitted to draw any inference that those holes were a result of the events on January 29th, 20. So all right, this is what I'm going to say. So if you're not going to listen to it.
This is wild. Have you ever seen a judge in a second-degree murder trial say, oh, well, if you're not going to listen to me, I'm just saying what I'm going to say? Sorry, this is kind of a big deal. This is kind of a big deal to the defense team. And we need just a second for us to come together and say if we agree on this. Is this real life? Somebody call 911. Get me out of the fucking upside down. I know that this is inconvenient for you, Judge Cannoni, but like, I don't know. Do you not want to protect your record here? And for what you did as an instruction, which you don't even say what you said you would before this little outburst.
That's fine. I've already said it. All right, we can bring the jury in. It's what I said, Mr. Alessi. Okay. All right, so it's what I said, Mr. Alessi. I instruct you that you're not permitted to draw an inference that the holes came from the events of January 29th, 2025. Those holes were made by the criminalist, Ms. Harnett, during the course of her inspection and sampling of the sweatshirt on May 18, 2023.
Is it possible, Your Honor, last comment, instead of not drawing inference, you should conclude that these holes were not present in the hoodie sweatshirt. They were caused by the criminalist.
So I can just leave that all out then and just say, Mr. Brennan asked Dr. Wolf about the holes in the sweatshirt. I instruct you that those holes were made by the criminalist, Ms. Harnett, during the course of her inspection and sampling of the sweatshirt on May 18. It's probably neater that way anyway. All right, let's bring them in, please.
Judge, just as a housekeeping matter, the sweatshirt has been taken out of the plastic sheet. It might need to be remarked. The plastic sheeting was marked, but if we're going to put it into a bag or
Babes, if you need to take a 1 second right now, go get yourself some Advil liquid gels, okay? Is your eye twitching again? Because mine is. This is happening. And I'm having a blood pressure reaction. Everyone, let's check our pulse.
or something like that, it might need to have it marked, but we don't need to do that right this second.
May I approach Mr. McDermott with Exhibit
Yes.
88?
Thank you.
So now, babes, here's the thing. What she said to the defense team just before the jury comes in is not what her instruction is. And at the end of the day, Attorney Alessi and Alan Jackson make it very clear that they're going to need to talk some shit first thing in the morning. Because no one agreed to this, right? And they don't need to because it's her instruction, I understand. But if you said what you said, that would have been cool. Minus the 2025, because, wrong year. All right, hold on.
All right, jury.
Oh, JK.
Mr. Alessi, you're simply going to stand and hold the sweatshirt, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
So this is exhibit 223.
And Your Honor, I would hold it as Your Honor begins to read. Is that consistent with Your Honor's explanation?
No, I want you to hold it up with the back.
What would you like me to say?
You do
Hold
that
it.
first, and then I'll give the instruction.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Alessi, why don't you where are you going to stand?
Pardon me?
Where are you going to stand?
I would suggest, Your Honor, right about here.
She
All right.
does, Lovey. She
So you
corrects
can
the
stand there, you can hold it
2025.
up, then I'm going to ask you to put it down, and then I'll give the instruction.
And then I will return to Mr. McDermott for the court officer to determine.
Yes.
Thank you.
Court officer.
Bear with me a moment, Your Honor, and then we put on the...
All right, then we will take the luncheon recess. When we come back, we'll have the voir dire. Or actually, is Dr. Lapis out of here?
She's here. She's on next. We're gonna call up. John Tier.
For just the measurements?
Okay.
There was so much going on today, and yet nothing. I was like, what is happening?
Well, I say it, and I'm going to tell her what they are, so.
Hello, OnlyFan. Can you save us? No. Babes, I dare someone from Core TV to say short break while the jury enters. Please view the OnlyFan. This will actually calm us down. Let's take this moment. In through our nose. Out through our mouths.
Please be seated. Court is in session.
All right. Jurors, I appreciate your patience. Mr. Alessi, why don't you hold the exhibit up for the jurors, please? All right, jurors, that's the back of the sweatshirt that was shown to Dr. Wolf. Okay, thank you.
Just wanted to say 10 out of 10 would recommend. Alessi being the most serious, holding up that sweatshirt like he is a model at the Bloomingdale's like parcel sale. He is gathering. This is very important. He is saying, bitch, it is silk. It is silk. You have mirror. Or like he is ready. Who's got the frankincense? He was talking to Jesus holding that up. The amount of face game he gave us, A+. Tyra Banks would have absolutely hired him as America's next top model. Oh.
Thank you. Why don't you go ahead and put it back in the bag? So, jurors, I instruct you that those holes were made by the criminalist, Ms. Harnett, during the course of her inspection and sampling of the sweatshirt back on May 18th, 2023. Okay? So, I know your lunches are here, but I think we'll, Mr. Yannetti, your next witness, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's it? Judge Cannoni, that's it? You instruct me that what? Wait. You are instructing the jury, but you don't say anything about exactly what line of questioning, how it was done on, like, I mean, it should have been said that, like, hey, not inadvertent about Hank Brennan. This should have been so much more in depth, in my opinion. It should have said that there can be no correlation between January 29th, 2022 and the back of this hoodie, period. I want everyone to take a Men in Black, pew, right? I need you to forget that he said that to you, because it even made me feel crazy when Hank Brennan said it. I said, bitch, you know your shit. You know this. You have composition upon composition notebook, and you have multiple 5-star, three subject notebooks from trial 1. Never was it alleged that there were holes in the back of the hoodie. We always knew that it was so surprising to us, and why we were like, I'm not picking up what you're putting down, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, because there was only the puncture holes to the right sleeve of Officer John O'Keefe's. And I feel that instruction was so weak. It was at that moment that I texted, who? Mr. Attorney Brennan. And I said, fuck you, you shit bag. No, I didn't. Of course I didn't. But I had texted Attorney Mark Betterow, and I said, Mr. Betterow, this is insane. I said, talk me off the ledge. I said, I'm putting so much on the hoodie, and Judge Cannoni's instruction was bullshit, in my opinion. And he said, it was a very weak instruction, and Brennan is exposed again. And with that, I calmed down a little bit. Okay, now we're going to go in and we're going to see John Tiedemann.
What exhibit number is that, Mr. Wolk?
And he just takes
46?
measurements.
Do you see exhibit 46 on the screen, sir?
I do.
Do you recognize that?
I do.
Oh.
That is 34 Road Canton.
Fairview.
When you got to 34 Fairview Road in Canton on June 3rd, did you make note of the various entrances to the...
Someone aerated that lawn, okay? Someone needs to go over. I know a guy, okay? You got Kentucky bluegrass. What are we doing? We just got to do little boop, boop, boops, holes with a little thing that goes up and down. It's like a little fork you put in the ground, and then it'll make it lush, because look how lush it is right there. Sorry, I'm elderly.
residence on the front, from the front of the house?
I did.
Could you describe those for the jury?
Yes, on the left side center of the building, there's what I would call the front door, up those 4 steps, I guess. Then if you were to look farther to the right, there at the end of the main building, there's another door, which I guess is the second front door or side door.
And with regard
He's coming on with me, I think, tomorrow, Lovey. I think. I've put out the invite, 911.
to that door, is it fair to say that faces outward, faces toward the road?
It does. It faces directly towards the road.
Okay, continue, please.
And then past that to the right, there are the windows. And then if you can see the little red line, that is a side door that goes into the garage. Yes, right there.
It's been highlighted there?
Yes.
Now, look at that little.
And then there are obviously the two garage doors.
And the two garage car doors, yes.
4 cars to enter. Okay.
Yes.
We can take that down. Mr. Wilk, put the lights on. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay, so he basically is going to give us, sorry,
Dan.
babes. Oh, just kidding. Just give it 1 second to us. And then I'm going to do Loposada tomorrow, but I just wanted to, we're going to talk and just feel our feelings afterwards. I just want to get him to say what he's here for.
So I've placed a photograph in front of you. Can you identify that for the jury?
Yes, that appears to be a photograph that I took of the side front door, the secondary front door, the garage door, and the two car doors to the garage.
Okay, particularly with regard to the side pedestrian entrance into the garage, the red door that you identified in the previous exhibit.
Pedestrian.
Does that photograph fairly
spaghetti.
and accurately represent the layout of the house in terms of the outside and the entrances that you've previously testified to?
Yes, it does.
I would offer that, Your Honor.
All right, can I see those, please?
And that's it. Oh, wait. And then they do okay, wait a minute. I'm losing it. Then they have to do, okay. We'll talk about that, but let's answer a couple of questions.
You
This
said
is
in
her.
general that you have conducted yourself.
Over 3,000.
How many?
Okay, first of all, how adorable. Are you kidding me? Why is she so cute? I like everything about her. And I know that people were giving her crap online for her little purse lip breathing, but she's blowing off CO2, guys, okay? She might have been stressed out, okay? And for any of our COPDers that we may have, we know purse lip breathing. And we're like, right? And then when she takes a breath and then she talks beautifully, you don't hear it. If you were there IRL, you wouldn't hear that breathing. Just like you don't hear Judge Cannoni breathing in the courtroom when she's huffing and puffing and blowing all of our minds. But I don't want to give her any crap. And I don't like to give any really of the experts crap unless crap is due. But she was so educated, so smart. And it blew my mind that Judge Beverly Cannoni thought that it was appropriate to limit her testimony, revamp her entire report. Like, oh, she cannot testify to line 1, line 4, like put all of these kind of roadblocks on her. And I was like, oh gosh, this is going to screw up her whole entire report. If you can't testify to many parts of your overall review of the facts, and when I tell you she rattled the facts off because she was able to refer, but she has looked at everything regarding Officer John O'Keefe's autopsy, his medical records, the Good Samaritan reports, his PCP records, like the EMT records, everything. And I thought that she would be 100% qualified because of who Judge Cannoni allowed for the Commonwealth, i.e., Dr. Wolf, Ezekiel Wolf, spelt phonetically and hungry like the wolf. He was able to testify to mechanism of injury on Officer John O'Keefe's cranium, but he's a neurosurgeon, babe. Oh, I'm sorry. He's able to say that 100% to him, Officer John O'Keefe fell like drunks do, like drunk people do all the time. Oh, I'm sorry. What did you just say? You know, like he went off the rails because he was going to do what he was going to say, but never at one point during Dr. Wolf from the Commonwealth's testimony did he say anything about a motor vehicle, that was consistent with anything. He just said a fall. You have Irene Scorti-Bello, another Commonwealth, huge part of the Commonwealth's case. The medical examiner. She did not subscribe and could not co-sign Trooper Michael Proctor's allegation that Officer John O'Keefe was struck, in a pedestrian motor vehicle accident on January 29th, 2022. She had seen all the information and still said, yeah, that's going to be undetermined for me. And we know that in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, that like 95% of the time, the medical examiner just goes with what Mass State Police tells them. Because there's only Boston and Springfield have their own police officers that do homicides. So she didn't rule it. What Mass State Police told her, which people have a hard time understanding that there's a difference between a death investigation and an autopsy. She is giving you the cause of death, meaning Dr. Irene Scorti-Bello. And then the police are telling you the circumstances at which time that death occurred. Oh. And now Dr. LaPosada is going to come in, and she's given a lot of her medical training and experience. You know that she is over 40 years. She teaches, babe. I love a teacher. I love a professor. And she's still adjunct teaching. She's highly educated, highly qualified, and I'm very interested to hear what she believes. And if we take context clues from Judge Beverly Cannoni at the end of the day, we're going to know she's talking about those Wisniewski spots. She's allowing the Lucas machine to come in, which is the high pressure machine that provides CPR in the field, and it's good quality, right? But what that can do to one's organs and hemorrhaging is associated with the Lucas machine. And I think it will be very, very enlightening to hear Dr. LaPosada's findings and her conclusions. Melanie, they have to let her talk about the spots. They're not going to let her talk about the dogs. I didn't hear the hemorrhaging is going to, oh, did they say that she couldn't talk about them? I didn't hear that part. Oh. Does she even reprimand Hanky? No, chaotic mind. She doesn't say anything. Nope. No admonishment. What? Can you imagine? Again, babes, can you just imagine if this was the defense that had pulled this stunt on day 29 of trial? There would have been hell to pay, sanctions, and I believe a new ass would have been ripped in front of that jury. But a very weak instruction was given, And that is it. Like, oh, we're fine. Oh, Jess is so over it. Miss Jess, I know. But keep the faith. Listen, loveys, okay? At the end of today, what do I have? What do I have to keep us encouraged? Because I felt very discouraged today. I keep my faith because of this. I believe that if I were a jury member, that if a prosecution is not providing me all the facts, I am going to have too many questions that I can't get past. And I believe that there was earlier question, what was it that he didn't? Oh, with ARCA specifically, Hank Brennan did not bring in the pictures of the back of Rescue Randy. He said, oh, look at this arm. Couldn't this arm be road rash? And aren't these similar to the patterns of the rips and holes on Officer John O'Keefe's hoodie? And then the defense had to get up and correct the record and show the full picture. And I think that we all are trained, or we believe that the Commonwealth is supposed to be here again, fighting for justice and fighting for the O'Keefe family. Whether, fucked up as it is, however bad it is, they are still, I think the jury believes there had to have been something here, right, for them to prosecute this. But when you keep seeing the underhanded, hiding that has gone on by Hank Brennan, the deliberate spin put on this case by Hank Brennan, the attitude in which he is confronting witnesses in this case that doesn't need to be so aggressive. Like, chill the frig out, dude. What are you coming in so hot for when people aren't being hot back? And I think that it will be off-putting to them. But when if the instruction comes in for missing witnesses and about Proctor not being called, that is why the defense didn't call Proctor, because that instruction says more than anything. You are not providing a clear and complete record. You did not bring forth everyone you should have because you are hiding the ball. Today, you pretended, you didn't fabricate evidence, but you pretended that evidence existed that didn't. Because you either are willfully ignorant and did not ever complete your summer reading and know what actually the evidence is in this case, or this is misconduct and malfeasance of the Commonwealth. And you would do anything to secure a guilty verdict on KarenRead. It shows unfairness, inequity. And I think that will stand out and be harped upon by Alan Jackson at closing. So with that, I say this. Tiny Mary and Tiny Jesus did not appreciate my swearing, okay? They said, hey, Kimberly, work on that. Say 3 Hail Marys and 3 Our Fathers. I will, okay? I'm going to do it. But today was an exercise in patience for all of us. It was an exercise in how many times you can pace in your home before you put a specific tread, okay, in a carpeting if you have any. All right? Did you make your puppies uncomfortable because you were maybe saying some swear words at the television? Yeah, I know. But tomorrow will be a better day. And the world is watching. May this trial be turned into Karen's triumph. May this move that was made by Hank Brennan today have consequences that he was not prepared for in the outcome of this trial. Everything will happen the way it's supposed to, loveys. And we will, at the end of the day, have freed KarenRead. Okay? She'll be Karen freed. On your mark, get set. Oh, let's punch a proctor just because we're here. And I feel like it's only right. Do, 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 do. Let's find him. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Little. Oh, hi, honey. All right, babes. On the count of 3, we will get out our sassies, our sillies, and we are going to say, this sucked. Today sucked out loud. We know it. All right, but what do? Rally, because we ain't got no quit. On your mark, get set. Oh, punch a proctor. Now we're gonna do it to. We're gonna whack a welcher too. 1, 2, 3. Whack a welcher. And oh, I got one for the road. 1, 2, 3. Hit a Hank. All right, loveys. I love your faces so much. Thank you for being here with me tonight. You are incredible. I apologize for not being able to go online this morning. I was unable to do our, commute live, but I'm going to do one tomorrow morning. We will talk all the shit. We will be full of love and light. I want you to rest your bodies and be prepared for day 30. I love your face. I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.